What's going on, everybody? American Football Network here with another video today. And today we're bringing you guys our Alabama-Georgia preview prediction video. But before we get started, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Comment those thoughts and opinions down below. Help me reach that goal of 2,900 subs by the end of September. I think we're only about 10 away from it now. But let's get going on that. Let's hit that goal. Check out the description for links to our shop, podcast, website, Patreon page, and our College Football Roundup channel. As you see right here, you get for the next 3 days on the shop 20% off on everything. As you see the products here that we got, some good stuff over there. So make sure you guys go check that out. Get some of those, get some merchandise over there and help support the show. But let's go ahead and jump into today's video. So Georgia and Alabama. Georgia comes in favored by 2. The over-under set at 48.5. We'll get to that stuff here in just a little bit. Georgia coming in 3-0 on the year, 1-0 in the SEC. Had a big win against Clemson week 1, beat them 34-3. Then beat Tennessee Tech 48-3. Then went on the road to Kentucky. Had a little bit of a scare. Maybe got a little bit of help from the refs in that one. Won that one 13-12. And then had a bye week. Then they'll face Alabama. Both these teams coming off a bye week for this game, so no advantages with that. Western Kentucky did not fare well in Alabama's season opener, and Kalen DeBoer's first game as the Crimson Tide head coach as they beat them 63-0, followed by a 42-16 win against USF, and then went on the road to Wisconsin and beat them 42-10. So both these teams have looked pretty good all throughout the season so far. Yeah, still very early in the season, but both teams looking pretty solid. Look at a little bit of the stat leaders for these teams. Carson Beck on the year, 56 of 82, 680 yards, 7 touchdowns. Milroe on the other side, 35 of 52, 590 yards, 8 touchdowns. Trevor Etienne, the leading rusher for the Bulldogs, despite missing the opener against Clemson, 24 carries for 157 yards. Then for Alabama, Jam Miller, 29 carries, 265 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Dominic Lovett, the leading receiver for the Bulldogs, 12 catches, 155 yards, and a touchdown. And then the 17-year-old freshman sensation, Ryan Williams, the leading receiver for Alabama, 10 catches, 285 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He has been electric, and to think the dude's only 17 years old is insane. But when you look at this game and you look at these teams as they match up, you see the ESPN analytics gives Alabama 65.5% chance to win this game. Take that as you may. I mean, we all know how those ESPN analytics are. But I do think Alabama has the edge in this game with it being a home game. When you look, both these teams come in with pretty solid defenses. Georgia probably has the advantage at defense. Offensively, I would give that edge to Alabama just slightly, partly due to Kalen DeBoer as well and his play calling, and also just the pieces that they have. But both of these teams just filled with talent, 5 stars all over the field. This is the game of the week, 100%. This is the big one. And it's going to be a fun one to watch. We'll be live for that game most likely, so make sure you guys will subscribe, hit that notification bell, and jump in the live stream for us with us. This is going to be a great game, though. Going to be just a fun, exciting game. When I really look at this game, there's 3 matchups, or I guess key players in this game that I think are gonna be the difference in the football game. When you look, number 1, I have Georgia's, not really a player, but a unit. Georgia's defensive line. They're going to have to get pressure on Milroe, make him uncomfortable. We saw Michigan do it last year in the Rose Bowl against them. Hasn't really seen anybody do it this year. But Georgia's D-line is going to have to get pressured. This D-line for the Bulldogs is, one of the – it's still a great defensive line, but not as good as it has been in years past, that's for sure. You don't have guys like Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis on that D-line this year. But still, don't get me wrong, very talented. It's still a top 5, top 7 D-line in the country. But they're going to have to get pressure with the 4 up front on Jalen Milroe consistently. Now, of course, they're going to blitz some and they're going to bring pressure. But when you don't, you got to get pressure on them. You have one of the best secondaries in the country, if not the best secondary in the country, with just all the guys that you have back there that make plays for you. But if Milroe's having 7, 8 seconds to throw, guys are going to get open. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you can't get pressure on the quarterback, guys will get open, and he'll find people downfield to deliver the football to. So you have to get pressure on the quarterback. They did a nice job of getting pressure week 1 against Clemson on Cade Klubnik, and that really just stalled the offense out. They couldn't do anything offensively. We see what Clemson's done the last 2 weeks. Now, definitely against lesser talent, but the offensive line hasn't allowed any pressure on the quarterback. Georgia was able to get that pressure, and that dismantled the offense. If they can do that against Alabama, because here's another thing. They have a great secondary, but if they're having to leave guys one-on-one with Ryan Williams and the rest of these just huge deep threat receivers Alabama has, it's going to go bad for Georgia. So I think that D-line for the Bulldogs is a big key in this game, because if they're able to get pressure on Milroe without having to blitz consistently, then I think that'll really help dismantle this Alabama offense and throw them into shambles. The second player, and I think is a big key in this game, is Trevor Etienne. If Trevor Etienne is able to establish a run game, break off some big runs, that is really going to help this Georgia team out, because don't get me wrong, Carson Beck is a good quarterback, but you don't want him out here throwing the ball 45 times to try and beat Alabama. On the road especially, you don't want to be one-dimensional. I think if Trevor Etienne can get that running game established, make that running game a threat, that'll really help this Georgia offense. Because I look on the flip side, we know Alabama is going to run the football, and even if it's not working, we know they're gonna stick to it. I mean, Milroe's only thrown 52 passes this year. They like to run the football, and you look as well. They'll mix it up. They'll run it with Milroe. They'll run it with Miller. Got some other guys that are going to get some carries too. Alabama's going to run the football, and I expect Alabama to have pretty solid success in running the ball. I don't think they're going to come out and run for 150 yards, but I could see them running for 85 to 105 yards in this one, maybe a little bit more than that. So I think Georgia also needs to be able to establish that run game with Trevor Etienne. I think that'll be huge. And then the third key guy for me in this game is Ryan Williams, the wide receiver for Alabama. For me, it's going to be tough for him. This is going to be the toughest matchup he's seen in his life. He's never faced anybody like what he's about to face with this Georgia defense. He has to find a way to make plays and get separation and get open. He cannot be shut down. If he gets shut down, this Alabama offense will – they'll lose their best weapon. He's been their best weapon offensively, and he has to be able to get separation. He has to be able to get open, and he has to get open deep down the field. I feel like they got to hit him on a deep shot at some point in this game. Cause the threat of it. Make Georgia go cover 2 every now and then, because if he's not able to get open down the field and make plays down the field, I think it's going to be a long day for this Alabama offense. I think it's going to be difficult. He has to get open, and he's got to make plays. So now on to the score prediction, what I think for this game. So Georgia's favored by 2. Over-under is set at 48.5. And when I look at this one, I have Georgia winning this game 27-23. So I have them covering the spread. I have this game hitting the over just barely by 1.5, combining for 50. I wouldn't bet the over or the under. I wouldn't mess with that one. I don't really like where that one sits. But I think Georgia wins this game 27-23. Similar score to when these teams played in the SEC championship last year when Alabama won 27-24. I think it's going to be a very good game. It'll be Kalen DeBoer's first real test. I mean, I know they went to Wisconsin, but everybody kind of knew Alabama was going to win and probably win pretty big in that one. But this is going to be his first real test as the head coach at Alabama. But DeBoer's a guy I believe in. He's a guy that's had success literally everywhere he's went, which has been 2 or 3 places now before Alabama. Had great success. I believe it was Fresno State, and then went to Washington, had very good success, made the national championship last year, beat Texas in the playoff, and now with Alabama this year. So, you know, that's a team and a head coach that I believe in. But on the flip side, Kirby Smart has won 2 national championships. He's the best coach in college football. has the best coaching staff in college football. It's going to be fun to watch. Going to be a heck of a game, one that nobody will want to miss. So, yeah, that's how I have it. Georgia 27, Alabama 23 is the score prediction for this one. So make sure you guys like and subscribe, comment those thoughts and opinions down below. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you guys.